What's up, and welcome to the Gifted Voice of Nature podcast. My name is Steve from Gifted Official. I got my co-host Angel, a brand consultant, and today's special guest we got Kevin Bertini, a master grower in cannabis cultivation.
Thank you for the kind words. That's
Yes,
very nice
sir.
of you
Of
guys.
Of course. Thank you for coming out, man. We appreciate it.
Thank
What
you.
I'm saying? I know Angel's been wanted to get you on here. He's like, I want to pick Kevin's brain, get
right.
into some
Showing
cultivation
love, showing
stuff. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta, just like we always say, you gotta show love when love's due,
Hell
especially
yeah.
in this industry. You
Right
know,
on.
sometimes we could be misunderstood, and just want to get your opinion on a couple things about the industry, and
There you go.
you know,
Right on.
Shit.
Well, I feel blessed. Thank you guys for putting me on, and I'm
course,
excited
man.
for this podcast. And yeah, I'm ready.
So what's up, man? Shit. Well, I mean, we just want to start really just kind of like talk to us a little bit about your journey and kind of how you got into cultivation and maybe your first
Gotcha.
experience with weed.
So my first experience, I was had some homies, brothers weed that was really good. First time ever trying it, and everybody was like starting to drink, and it was like I hit that, and I was like, man, that's so bomb. What is that? And that was some
Yeah.
orange Kush. So I kind of grew up spoiled on it, but my journey really started when my mom had cancer, and so we wanted to grow medicine, and so we took that journey, and we did that, and just a couple plants, and it came out fire. I was doing research. This was like early 215 days where like good weed was there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
you
for
wanted
sure.
to like dial it in.
Yeah.
And other than that, fought that, and I got in the industry commercially in 2017. Been growing since 2005. But yeah, I fell in love with it, every aspect. I mean, how every cultivar is different, how it structures, how you run different on your hedges, like everything. I just fell in love with it. But most of all, it's what I seen medically and how it made me feel, and it filled me to a point where the food that I feed the plants is given back on return.
oh yeah, for
And
sure.
and that's where like the biggest I felt medicine came into it. I'm a heart 215 guy back in the day. Like it was good weed or like that was it. You just smoke nothing else. And
Oh yeah,
the industry changed. We went from growing exotics, OGs. Now it's all the candy game commercially, and certain investors want, brokers and stuff like that to push candies. And I just found in the industry, don't forget the agriculture of it.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of people forget about that. So they try to go so much of, cannabis. I want to be specialty to this plant, but you learn so many tricks from different species of everything. So I feel like growing different stuff, just not cannabis, farmer, you have to grow everything.
Yeah,
We were growing pineapples up in the high desert. Like, you're not supposed to grow like that, but cannabis is just one of those ones where I'll never let it down because it always gave me positive. It doesn't matter what I did, it's always positive. And it's a culture thing. We went to cool spots where, farmer cups and stuff like that, where you're with the same people that you see on Instagram. You're with the best of the best, and it's cool seeing it. It's a small community. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
people who are still here are like the real deal people. The people who come and go are in it because of greed, money. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, you can't forget about, the medicine of it or the quality of it, of why I'm smoking it to begin with.
Yeah, like you said, the culture behind it.
Exactly.
A lot of
So-
people forget that, I think, when they come commercially, but people like yourself, when you come from growing, like you said, fruits at home, things like that, I'm sure seeing, the quality you could put into also now this cannabis. And again, some facilities don't want to do that because of the commercial side,
It's crazy because you do say about growing other plants than just cannabis, because I know a lot of growers who are super passionate about it. And I mean, once you get a grower that's super passionate about the agriculture of it, like you said, you start to grow other things. I know other growers who grow like cactus and different kind of fruits and other healing plants, and aloe and different things like that. So I mean, that's kind of dope that you grow that. I think I've seen that on your Instagram too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to see more of it because it's a plant. So if you love plants and you're a farmer, or if you just love like, a house plant, some people start with house plants and then it grows where you have cuttings of house plants and your house is a house plants, and it just culture. It's culture.
It is.
Honestly, yeah. So we actually started our garden, me and my family, like a couple months ago.
Nice.
And it was honestly because of you, because I was like, man, look, Kevin got some crazy shit growing. Like he says he can grow all of this. Like, he got the recipes, he got everything behind it. So we did, and then I started to notice like this is just like growing cannabis. Like I love to see the plant grow and everything. And now this is the fruit that I'm gonna eat and enjoy with my family as well. Like you see what goes hand in hand, and
that's the best part.
Yeah,
That's the feeling that you, the cost or the dollar, has to find that balance where it's like you're not gonna get as clean, cucumber or
sure.
zucchini, or something medicinal for you that you don't grow yourself. You have to grow it yourself.
And everything's always fresher from farm to table. So it's like when you go buy fruits, vegetables, or whatever at the farmer's market, when majority of it is, homegrown or grown in small batch, it tastes so much better.
You're not looking for a number on the barcode of what it's sprayed by pesticides. It's literally like, I know exactly what's in it the whole time. And that's culture, that's what I want. Cleanness, medicinal.
Oh yeah,
what
definitely.
you eat, or
Do you ever try like using different methods, like something that you use to grow cannabis? Do you ever try it like on tomatoes or something else, or vice versa? See if it works for that.
So growing different stuff, it was kind of more like you think you had to like add food like early on the journeys, but roll down to it, it's like you can look at a plant and tell what it needs. And what I mean by that is like I grow lemons, different stuff. Well, those are like lower pHs, and so I adjust that part of the garden to this. But then certain stuff like alkaline, it does really good. Like we just recently did a pollinated dragon fruit.
Okay.
Really bitching. First time doing it. It did a pretty flower. You pollinate it, and me and my wife are like tripping out because it only opens at one night at between like 8:30 and 9. And it has that short time frame when it opens up and you have to pollinate it.
Nice.
You can't explain how bitchin' this shit is. Like, cannabis is the same way, Like, you have a bitchin' male, you can cross it into a female, you can create your own genetics or your own journey. Where nowadays, people wash so bad, it lost the integrity of what it was originally. Yeah. And so, like, good cuttings doesn't matter if you're growing tomato plants or a lot of stuff. Sometimes you have to start from the seed that's close to the originality of that genetic. Because clone, you get tired after a while, So finding all that in a long stuff, just learn how to read and feed. I can't tell people that, but I can look at a plant, it needs CalMag, or it needs more nitrogen, it needs more phosphorus, or depending on the growth stage, I can dial that in. So when you grow different stuff, different vegetables or cannabis, you can find that point where I can read and feed. And I can't explain that to new coming cultivators or people who just want to grow a houseplant. Like, you got to read it. Like, does it have too much water? Is it not enough water?
Yeah. Almost like back to the basics.
Yeah. Agriculture.
Yeah.
And you can read that just by looking at it.
Read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to read it. And it's really important,
For sure. No,
it doesn't matter what you touch or it's just like, sounds crazy, but just like us.
Yeah.
You can tell if I'm malnourished or need a drink of water or something like that,
No,
yeah, exactly. True. No, and like you said, just read it, just like you read everything else. You're kind of feeling like, okay, this might be too much watering, or I might have did something to this, like.
But that journey puts you back into cannabis. So if you can jump from growing different plants back to cannabis, or taking what you know from cannabis back into plants, it's bitching. Like, you can produce tomatoes, or you can do strawberries, and some of the stuff you can recycle. So like cannabis soil is really good for strawberries out if you're growing organically because it's more acidic. Well, strawberries like more acidic soil, and so you can like recycle that way. And then the next year you can add, like, till something into it, mix it more alkaline, and plant over there to put something over here. So your biofuels are really important. Just like it sounds sad, but a natural fire going through does a new beginning. everything, new growth starts from the biochar and stuff like that. You're getting your phosphorus, potassium, all that back into as a long time release again, you know?
Yeah. There goes that organicness that we always talk about.
Yeah, I mean, organic, diving down 215 times, that was everything. Like, you want to be clean, you don't want EDTA, you don't want certain things that hurt, but then commercially, you have to find that balance. And, you know, when I jumped in the industry like it was 2017, everybody was on Athena. Athena.
Yeah, you heard about that.
Respect those guys, you know, they grow good nutrients. Not one or the other, right? So I'm not saying what's better or what's not, but I pretty much ran everything that you could pretty much buy. Just to see what it does, or this and that, to the point where I'm making my own stuff. I don't want to do that. I just want to make my own stuff. But when you run commercially, it's finding that balance between quality and yield. I can't explain it to people where they're not yielding very good and they're still, quality's not there. The looks are there, but the oils and the trikes and everything's not full and not clean all the way. And how it burns is crazy because some people don't even flush. But what it comes down to is your biochar. And so as your fossil fuels burn through your flour, what you kind of want is like a bicarbonate. So if you had like salt on the ground or a bicarbonate, it turns white, right? Well, that's how you know you're flushing your certain important nutrients out of your plants, is when you're ingesting it, is it white? It left its bicarbonate. That's like, that should be the end. That should be the last thing, like in a water source, right? It's just trace minerals of whatever you're adding, you know, that bicarbonate sometimes. And if you don't have bicarbonates, they're not really stable. And so like a lot of these people in the industry, they got it down, they have the recipe, but they forget that point where if you're adding pH up or down, you're affecting your quality of flour. And well, how do you do that? Well, you know, certain things that you can add, like balance and certain things, hurts it. Like some facilities, they use too much cleaners in their system. So like cleanse is one of them. It's really good if you're like dirty and like, you know, certain things, but like a lot of people think they need to be too clean. You don't want weed that's like a fountain water from Disneyland, right? You don't want that smell
like
of that
super
flower.
synthetic.
You know, even if you're growing rock wool or, you know, whatever, you don't want it to taste like reservoir. So it's really important on your trace and how your shit comes out, you know?
No, yeah,
But,
definitely.
Do you think sun-grown flour will ever kind of make a comeback and kind of compete with synthetic weed right now?
I feel like the best growers are the light depth and hoop house
Mixed lights, stuff
people.
like that.
Yeah, mixed lights. Like they got HPS in greenhouses or LEDs in greenhouses sometimes as supplemental. Those guys are probably some best growers because you're getting elements, but it also depends on your region where you're coming from, what zone you're in.
Because you are in the outdoors.
It's brutal, you know. Like out here in the Mojave Desert, you get fried.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So certain times, but light depth, you can do 4 or 5 harvests a year. So you get a couple good harvests, one struggle one, or you know whatever. But it will come. It will come back.
Yeah.
Up north, it's still banging. They're still doing really good. They're just scared of change because it's been working for so long. To keep up with the industry, you have to be an open book.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciated your kind words earlier, but like, I don't consider myself a master grower. I consider myself like an open book. Like, I learned something from every grower, everyone who has experience, as much as my wisdom to tell them something as well on that journey. Because there's a line doing it professionally where cockiness and humble meets right in the middle, where you have to be confident enough where I can run your multi-million-dollar facility and hit quality, hit yields, but at the same time, can't be cocky. You have to be a slow open book and still take suggestions. And every spot's different, right? Everybody struggles for something different. Some people have environmental right. Some people don't. Some people have all that, but then their source of their tanks, their waters can't keep up with what to do properly. Or some people fight humidity problems, finding out that they can chase it VPD wise a little higher temp, but you're not getting your quality. So like yield and quality is a hard line to the investor. But
Yeah, because they're looking for.
they're looking for like 2.5, 3 a light.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
They're looking for numbers.
Numbers. That pays bills, you know?
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but you don't hire somebody, in the industry that's a real connoisseur that does this, like you said, that's an open book that's still trying to learn, but bring all his experience here and expect all this mass yield right away,
It's hard because candies, the industry wants candies. They have to run under light canopy, upper canopy. And yes, there's guys hitting 3 a light, 2.8, 3 a light. But they're only focusing on a few strains. And most of those times it's a 1-tier system that they're hitting those on. And so it kind of changes the game a little bit where I can run back to these old school genetics and we can hit those numbers and still get quality where it's like, fuck yeah, everybody's happy. Because like OGs is going to be the new exotic because
Right.
no one has those phenos that still is like loud gas.
Yeah.
Like real kush. Like when you blow real kush, it makes you excited and you smoke more because it's like, it's fucking good. Opposed to this like, some stuff, like I'm not hating candy. Like I loved candy when candy come out. Like there's gumbo that's super bomb. Some of the gelatos are pretty good, but like that's not my cup of tea. I mean, we were growing that before the candy scene even happened. So like,
Oh, yeah.
burnt out on it is like years and years. It's like, but then new stuff too, new exotics is like people don't want that. Like early days exotics would be like a papaya to like a Gushers.
Oh, yeah.
Something like
crazier.
weird exotic,
Yeah, exactly.
crazy terps.
Yeah.
But then people don't really want that. So I see the industry, it's hard right now because it's October. Everybody's coming out with their outdoors. Everybody's flooding the fucking market. So the packs are dropping.
Oh, yeah.
They're dropping hard. They're like this last like month or two, like low, right? So it's crazy the price that everyone's dropping to. But then it's makes you feel good. Say like, oh, okay, like I hit 2 a light, or 2.3, 2.5 a light, but it's quality, and I'm not getting that $600-$700. I'm getting that $1,000,
Yeah.
and you're excited to smoke it, and then you want to buy your own weed. You don't want to smoke your own weed commercially. We're like, I worked at some of these facilities, and it's like, thanks, like I appreciate it, like but like it's not the same,
Yeah,
So
for
like.
sure.
If I can find an investor one day, it'd just be like maybe a four light, not 4 light, but like 4 rooms, probably like 90, 98 lights each room, be like the perfect spot because you can run 1 tier, you can run wider tables, and I still like HPS. I learned how to grow on LEDs, which a lot of people going from HPS to LEDs don't really know that you push them hard. If you have full white spectrum, you're pushing your veg higher EC, like super high EC. But if you're HPS, and I was running that same feed line on a HPS light, I'd be frying it.
Yeah.
So like you have to learn how to read a plant. If you can't read a plant, it's going to be a hard challenge. And even these people who take cannabis classes, get certifications, sometimes they don't know how to read a plant. It's like, read a plant.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can explain to you guys.
That's where the passion, I think, for the plant comes in, and just
like-
knowing it, being around it so much.
Structuring it,
Yeah.
what leaf to pull off at the right time to get, like, how you're crowning it, and but I get the challenge. Like, so, like, running different spot, outdoor, indoor, light depth, is a challenge. Double tier, single tier to double tier. Like I ran single tier, went to double tier, ran double tier, back to single tier, and it's like each one's different. Double tier is takes you like to the full capability where like, am I getting the top as good as I'm getting the bottom?
Yeah.
Or are these hedges replica of everything? And I felt like that's where my OCD came into it, where I was like, I want everyone to look the same. I took the extra care on it, like crazy. I put more hours in work cultivating than I'd done any other job, because it's not really a job, because I love it what I'm doing so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like, I tell people that it's like, I was working 7 days a week, and on my 7th day or my 6th day, maybe 4 hours or 3 hours or something. But other than that, it's like 10-hour days, dude, 12-hour days every day. But passion,
That's- Again, when it's passion like that, you don't even look at the clock. You don't even know what time it is. You just
you don't, yeah.
you just go in, and it's like like you said, you're happy to go in because of the quality you're about to dish
And the
out.
challenges gives you a natural high.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't matter if it's pressure or something where like environmental is so off,
Yeah,
but then you know how to change watering and feeding to accommodate your environmental. Because crop steering is not just about environmental and light. It's your water strategies, what you're doing. Most commercial people, textbook, if you go textbook, you guys are going to get that commercial weed. You're going to get that, what everybody sees in the commercials, facilities flooding it out. You go, most dispensaries, that's what it is.
I hear this term small batch thrown around a lot. So I don't know if it's like a marketing thing, or is people really doing small batch, and like what's considered small batch? Is that like a 20 plant room and that's all you grow? Because like some facilities, they're saying, oh, we do small batch, so we're charging this much for a unit or this much for an ounce, but you got 6 rooms with 50 plants each. So if you just had one, I would be like, okay, that's an original small batch. Like you're just doing that. All your care time is going into that room.
Love, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, but you're harvesting like X amount of pounds, way over something that would be considered small batch. So like, what really is small batch?
Well, early days, it was like a few plants or
Right.
a garage or
something really small.
Something like that. But nowadays, I feel like it's called ramping up. It's like, I got this genetic, I'm gonna run it on like 8 lights out of my 140, 160 lights.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna concentrate on those and try to get those dialed. But people don't understand is a room should be all same strain. So when that comes out, when you have 160 lights, you want 4 strains at least to split that room, right? But like what you're saying, small batch, to me, it would be like the bitchin' 50 lighter.
Yeah.
Just the perfect amount of that one cut. You can feed that one room, everything the same, dial it in, it's there. But those guys are more the hash guys. They're kind of like they like the hash, and the hash is good. The rosin's there, but you have to prep everything for that, like
you pretty much grow it for them. So you're trying to make sure it's
on point.
It's a
It's
good
not
strain.
getting sprayed with
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
It's clean, So a lot of people don't. Their IPM regimen affects what they're always shooting for, but they're dreaming it. They're not making it a reality.
Because you heard of elephant growth?
Elephant, yeah.
Yeah, elephant growth. So like they sell an ounce of OG for $800, a quarter for like $350, $375 a quarter, an $800 ounce.
that's
like,
ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
is there
That's
a
crazy.
cap? Like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? Is it that rare? Is it that premium of a product where
All I can say is
a connoisseur is gonna pay
that
$800?
OG through Vine is bomb. I flowered it out a few times. It's fucking bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fucking really good. It comes on the Kim line. It's like a Kim 91. What it is?
Okay.
Stupid. It's stupid.
It's crazy,
fire.
yeah.
It's good, but that one's a good base as your structure of your kush, right? To throw into stuff. So like elephant growth and all that. They change the name sometimes, but it's like the lemon or the Kim 91. Sometimes like even veered off where like the old PK veered off of it, which is SOV,
Okay.
But in those lines, it kind of split off from the Kim. And those cuts are fire. Yeah. I I still hang on to those ones. Those ones don't leave because they're so good to put stuff into. A Wi-Fi into the Kim 91's like, the fuck is this?
So OG, I always hear this debate: is it ocean grown or is it original gangster?
So it depends where you're coming from, right? So if you're by the beach or you're up north, it was the ocean grown.
Right.
But it was weird because the early 215 days, as like a Southern California kid, it was coming from San Fernando Valley, like San Gabriel, like down in the valley. And originally it came from a gangster guy who had the OG. And like, long story short, I think it's kind of more like the original gangster shit because the guys who had the gas, the guys who were getting $4,000 a pound, only making a living off of fucking a garage at that time.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, like pumping out. They're doing great. The prices were crazy, dude. I remember 8s were like $75.
Oh yeah.
Like you're saying crazy numbers.
Crazy numbers.
To get that now, you have to have marketing behind it.
Oh yeah.
So like there is still really good weed out there. You just have to put the marketing behind it. So that name builds you. Like you have a great name, you're building it. That's everything. Opposed to if you did find someone that's like, damn, I have this, and you collab, that's where it's at because that's kind of what happened there in that situation where they are getting that. Just because people can't find that because the market's flooded.
Oh yeah, definitely. And see, that's the thing.
It's flooded, dude. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Everybody. It's hard to find someone that has a solid OG. You hear it all day long. Oh, I got an OG. I got an OG. And no disrespect to them. Again, they might think that that's good, but we're looking for something that we seen back in the day.
Right.
That's
like that's where it started. So like early on when I was smoking, and you felt it in your chest, expansion like super high. Like when you haven't smoked for a while and you smoke this shit, you like look down, you're so fucking ripped, bro. You're like fuck, like social anxiety almost. It's so ripped,
No, yeah.
But then you grow up on it. That's what you kind of like set up the standard to be. Mm-hmm. So the rest of the industry is like here where that's still up here for me.
Right. It's such an iconic strain too,
And if it's real, it doesn't matter if it's outdoor or indoor.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's still there. Genetically, it's still there, dude.
I heard a story with, Wonder Brett, the cultivator.
Yeah.
So I guess he was one of the first ones to have the cut in the 90s out in LA to start growing OG. So I guess he had a friend that knew Exhibit. He gifted Exhibit an ounce of some OG.
Nice.
So Exhibit was like, oh, this shit is fire. Like, I love it. Yeah. Like, I need more. This is when they started doing the first Dre Chronic album. So Exhibit took it over there to the studio. They're all smoking it, recording the first Chronic album to hit that blew up crazy in the 90s. And it got to the point where they fell in love with that OG strain so much, they would not record a song without having OG in the studio. So if they didn't have any, they'd call Wonder Brett, and then he'd be like, hey, we need the OG in the studio. He would drive it over there, drop it off, which is crazy to say because if you think about it, that whole album was influenced off of OG, producing, writing, lyrics, everything,
Yeah.
And
it makes you feel a certain way. Like when you had that real shit, just like a little nug in your pocket would get you busted.
Yeah, because
it
was
so
so loud. So
loud. But when you have that, you kind of feel like not like a gangster, but kind of like pumped up, like what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel
kinda
that.
Hype,
You know what I mean? Like if you're in the studio and you're doing that, like you feel like, like
a little hype. Yeah,
yeah, like that shit's fucking. It pumps you. It's so sick. Like that's fucking good.
Honestly, because
pumped on it.
Yeah.
When you had dished out a couple of those OGs, even though they weren't, your cup of tea that you liked, it was still one of those like, I got some good, like there's some good OG. Like it could be better, and it's not the strain the guy wanted, but it made me feel excited to know that even though everybody else has it, it wasn't grown this way. Right. It wasn't showing that love and care.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like I said, craft to commercial to the guy on the hill. Back in the day, like Humboldt back in the day was fire. But back in the day we had Kush, you had Chronic. And then, of course, you have your lowers, but, like, that was it. But, like, even your Chronics were, like, the bomb medical stuff that you would get, on the labels. Or it's like you get it from a lot of the home growers back in the day. It was fire. Like, you're excited to get good weed. You're getting good weed because it's, like, someone, took care of it, and I just enjoy that shit. Where now it's like the legal scene and all that. It's like that's where you go to like work, like that's what work is,
Yeah.
It's
some
so
people,
you have
yeah.
to find that balance of running commercially, of passion, and this where it blows some people's mind. It gets some investors like attention hard, like
Yeah.
you're doing what,
But I think
and
when,
you're saving me what?
yeah.
Yeah.
You get like investors that don't really come for the culture, or
That's
you know what I
it.
mean? It's
You
they're
want a
ju-
boss that smokes your weed,
Yeah.
enjoying it just as much as you are, because that's where your relationship will bond, and you'll love, working for someone for so long as a partnership, opposed to someone that doesn't even smoke, right? So they're going off of looks, a little bit of smell, but they're not craving that what it is like blowing that,
Yeah.
right? So it's
No,
different.
yeah.
Like that's how you know you have good weed. You're hitting your checkpoints.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it hit this? Does it hit this? Does it hit this? Like, that's how I feel, And there's some people doing it, but
Speaking about checkpoints, like I think it's a big topic right now in cannabis. How do you feel like, or like people are always saying about white ash?
All right.
Like if it doesn't burn white,
Yeah.
it's not good. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's true. You know what I'm saying? I think stuff a little peppery sometimes is still
it's
good,
still there.
but it's something that I think people kind of, oh, does it burn white? Does it burn white? If it don't burn white, I don't want it. Like
I agree 100%. As a cultivator, I've ran stuff not flush to flush. It's how you mostly cure it and how you dry it. Because like, if you're still a 1 EC when you're coming down, depends where your substrate is when you pull your plant, right? So like, if you're in hydroponic or rock wool and you're still in the 3 to 5 range ECs and you're pulling your plant, but you did it dry, of course you're gonna lock that last little bit in, a little harsher,
Yeah.
and how you're drying it and the process, how long, But to flush properly, it's funny because it's you can go too much. There's that balance where it's like, right where you're at, it is 100% because sometimes the white ash means like you're close to that pocket range, but if you overdo it, it actually will go back to gray. You'll wash out your bicarbonate.
Okay.
Your pocket of where you're balanced at and your fossil fuel that you still have.
Yeah, because I agree with the white ash. I do see a difference sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't mean that anything darker is not fire. Because
Of course not.
yeah, but when I do see that white ash, it just kind of makes me feel like, okay,
It
this
makes you
was-
feel good too, though,
Yeah.
if you know your grower.
Yeah, exactly.
You always
Yeah.
post that know your
Yeah,
grower.
hashtag know your grower.
That's it, bro. You
Yeah.
gotta know your grower because like he's doing what
Yeah,
he's
and
putting
like,
in it.
back to
know
what you
I mean?
said, like if the grower or the owner is not smoking that, then
Yeah.
why should I be smoking it? That just tells me they're just trying to dish it out. They smoke, but they're not smoking that.
I seen owners smoke it, which blew my mind. Like I didn't expect them to smoke it, to the point where I'm like, can't you see? Like stuff has to change, bro. I
No,
can't
yeah.
explain it to you clearly enough. Where I think they know it, but they're scared to change because this is bringing some kind of change. Consistent, The change is scary for people, but it makes you stand out.
With the purple strains, I'm pretty sure there's some genetics that are actually come out purple. But I mean,
Yeah.
even if you don't have something that's genetically purple, can you actually manipulate the purple color through the process of growing?
Of course.
With temps.
Yeah. Genetic does play a factor on it, but yeah, you can't 100%. Yeah.
And is it just kind of like going colder towards the end, or
It's part of your feed, your crop steer. So if you know about crop steering a little bit, there's vegetative and genitive crop steering. Genitive is like your saturation to big dry bag. And vegetative is like less of it, keeping it more saturated, but keeping it in the pocket. And so vegetative is usually for good growth, right? So you bulk during your vegetative. That's what usually you try to do. Genitive is more like getting your nodes happening, getting different stuff happening. But if you do genitive at the end, it will get to the purple and it will start taking out your nitrogen. You can keep it in that pocket of your VPD. What I mean by that is your humidity and temp has to be in a pocket zone for your plants to transpire. And it's really important when people dry stress, that number goes too high, their plants are going to start drinking too much water and less food. And so to photosynthesize their carbohydrate turnover, can't process their photosynthesis. Like it's not happening. So there's a sweet spot on that humidity and where you're at. The more you start drying out, getting like the middle to the end, you want to start drying out the humidity. And that allows your plant to start tricking, knowing it's coming to an end. So that's where trichome comes in. That's where purpling comes in.
Okay.
But it also has a factor with temp too. But what it is actually a deficiency, because a perfect color green is chlorophyll in the leaf. You know, it's you're seeing nitrogen. Everything that's burning out of your leaf is the color of your health of your plant, right? I call it fingernails. If your fingernails are burning, you're a little high on food. And most stuff that only burns is only on nitrogen.
Oh, wow.
So, like, it's rare. You'll see toxicity on phosphorus or potassium, but nitrogen is what your fingernail will burn, right? So, like, you can reading a plant, and seeing what's going on. But taking nitrogen out and pushing potassium and phosphorus as, like, what people call as their feed line, like a PK, right? Start cutting back on nitrogen, start adding the PK. When you switch that zone where you're coming from, it's taken out, and so potassium is filling in. And from temperature, it will also do it. So the chlorophyll is completing, and potassium is filling in. And that's what the purpling is happening on the leaf tint.
Okay.
It changes the purple. Genetically is dramatic, though, because, like, what I mean by that is, like, you can run, like, a Granddaddy purple or a purple Urkel, like old school stuff.
Yeah.
Old school purple.
And they're like, most strains, if you're growing and you're getting purpling stem, it's from lighting or where your intensity is usually happening from light stress, usually on your vertical stems. Where coming off your hands or your solar panels or your leaves, that's like a deficiency or feed what's happening through temperature, right? Because a leaf temperature, what a lot of people don't understand is you measure leaf temperature. So if you're underneath your light, say this is the light, and that's the temperature, you have to measure your temperature. Because what kills terps is temperature. So a lot of these growers are like, oh, I'm sitting in those pockets.
Yeah.
I'm at 76 degrees, and I'm in that pocket, which is good, but underneath their leaf temperature may be 80, 81, because the lights are too close. But if there's a pocket, but temperature is everything. Day and night swings will also do that. But if you're staying in your pocket, there's times where you do like 5 degrees or maybe 10 degrees. And there's growers who stay just in that temperature zone the whole time and just change their weeks, day and night. Those are the people coming out with the commercial weed. I hate to say it, they're not getting the characteristics of their plants. And yes, indoors is not, you're mimicking nature, but you're not. You're indoors. So don't try to go above and beyond trying to mimic outside, right? We're reading the plant, we're trying to figure it out, but there's that open line where if I want to dress a plant a certain way, it's also me talking to the investor and what he wants and what he's selling.
Yeah.
I can take a plant and go, same strain, I want it purple this round, turn it all purple. Or I want it earlier and have it more loud and terpy and more uppity high, I can do the first window harvest. I want couch lock and more color into it.
Longer.
I can do the third window harvest. And so you can change your high not only on the genetic you're growing. So a lot of people forget that's the basics of agriculture. There's window harvests on the fruit and the flowers that you're harvesting. You understand that, it's pretty cool, because your favorite thing about purple plants or this or that or what we all love is what that person was spending time on, loving, going, I think that sweet spot is like maybe that 7-week zone, or I actually like this strain at 10 weeks. You know, it's like that's the sweet spot on it, you know?
Just when I saw some of your work before too, I was kind of impressed. Well, I wasn't impressed, but I'm just like, you don't find this weed around all the time, this type of weed. Like, it's almost sticky. It's fresh.
Stick to the window.
Yeah. And I'm like, I used to always say, what happened to sticky weed? Where's all the sticky weed? Like,
There you go.
why, you know what I mean? Years gone by, like, we just don't run into sticky weed no more. I remember it being like caking up your grinder
You
and
could
all over
see
your
the
fingers.
stickiness in
You
that.
know what it
Yes, and
is.
it's like chewy in a way. And I'm like, when he showed me some of your work, I was like, dope, who grow this? You know what I mean? Like,
It's salts.
is it salts?
It's the salts. I can't explain it. If you're into like growing, yes, salts will start dehydrating your flowers. Yes, like you're hitting your pockets, but most people grow too high of EC. They have this industry standard. And when your plant's drying back and your genitive crop steer, and they're coming in at 3 EC or a high 2.7 or something, they're burning it. So you have a gorgeous flower, and the end of your calyx tips are burning on your flower. And it happens a lot of the purple plants, right?
Yeah, you see that.
The
Yeah,
purple, and it's
Yeah.
just the burnt yellow tips on it, right? What's happening. And it's like, that'll all go away if you just either not go so far back on your genitive crop steer or you lower your EC. And so a lot of these people are like, I need to hit high EC. If you want to grow good weed, you're not pHing up or down to adjust your feed. You're using what you have naturally to find that sweet spots of the pH up and down. And you're getting quality. You're getting sticky weed because I'm not dehydrating my flowers and killing my flower.
Because a lot of sun-grown outdoor stuff has gotten a bad name over time. Like, if it's outdoor, it's bad. Like, not necessarily as long as it's grown by someone good. But that's
Right.
where you would see the sticky weed on some
Right.
sun-grown stuff, some really natural sun-grown stuff. So to get that type of quality of sun-grown, but indoors at big numbers, I'm pretty sure it's not easy.
No, it takes a good grower, and then that grower can go in indoor and crush it. Just because it's like it's a little easier. Like most people outdoor, like I wouldn't be using salt bags to feed my stuff. Even on like most stuff, it would be like a liquid line, more soluble. Most people are like, oh, my water is completely soluble. They mix the nutrients. They show you how clear the water is. Liquid fertilizer is where it's at if you're going to run scale like that. Because if you're pushing your plants and they're dehydrating, they're going to turn a little like yellowish brown. And they're going to oxidize fast because of temperature and water transpiration.
Oh, even faster than just
So your zone plays a factor, and light intensity plays a factor. I've seen guys out in the desert run stuff where they have a cover over it, right? Well, it's getting the perfect par. And yes, it's harsh, but it's getting perfect. Environmental where people up north, they can run like hoop houses up north and be open sun. But then they're not getting it, they're closing it a little early on their flowering time. And because the DLI is maxed out, your plant can only absorb so much photosynthesis for the day, and that's it.
We're gonna have to take a trip to my cousin's farm up north because honestly, their outdoor flower every single time it comes down this way, and I'm able to get some from the family line. It's sticky, it's fire, it tastes crazy. I mean, yeah, they sit there all year long, doing their organic soils, and like you said, we're gonna have to do a podcast right there behind there. Yeah, because they grow their plants. Some of them are 6-8 feet big.
That's beautiful.
They have genetics like nobody has. I think one's like a Oaxaca or Oaxacan or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to bring some of that down.
take Rafa on a road trip over here. Pack up equipment.
12 hours all the way up. Let's
cool.
go. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, up north,
There's-
bitching.
Yeah. There's some of the.
There's still really, really good weed up there.
Oh, yeah,
It
that's what I was about to say.
We don't see it as much because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
And then we are obligated to go only a few places, right? Like it's either maybe a homie or a dispensary.
Yep.
And that they want you to go more to the dispensary so they can see where it's going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Track it. Like you're
There
saying
goes
seed
that
sale type.
part. Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So like they want to see that.
That's what's the good thing about being in industry.
Being in the industry is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm happy every day when I do it. I can't explain because it's like I was a diesel mechanic, and I'm like, that's hard work. I'm welding on stuff and fried all the time, like just a lot. And then playing with plants is like my happy spot where I'm like I said, like that's everything to me.
It's like therapeutic when you walk into that room and you're just.
And I have too many years into the industry to go. I'm gonna go something back out. 'Cause, like, what's on your resume?
No, yeah.
Like, cultivation, dude. Like, like where you want to start? What do you want to know? I kind of starting getting into the consulting thing a little bit. Then I realized that when you get in the consulting, that basically you're hired to tell people what they're doing wrong. And I got the enjoyment of actually like, being a director is cool. But I like where if your team is on point and who you're vibing with and you're running stuff on a vibe, that's everything. I can't explain it to anyone where it's like being that consulting to some people, it was like, I don't like criticizing other people, even though those people may be good growers or this and that because I'm doing my job, but that's my job, trying to make them better, opposed to working on the same team where you're like, it's what your knowledge and my knowledge together, like we're going to crush it, and like open mind,
Oh yeah.
Having the same vision.
Same vision. That's what
vision.
it is. It's like some people dream stuff and some people make it reality, and like manifesting it is like, I remember I was like, just started smoking weed and I'm looking at, you go to the gas station, you used to buy like those magazines back in the day, Skunk and, stuff like that. And you look in and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you got those same people in your contacts on Instagram, like that's where reality came, where it's like, that's where it's at. It's pretty cool.
How does THCA work? Because I'm kind of confused about that. Because there's THCA that looks kind of smokes like regular flower, but it has to test 0.3. So from what I heard is that to get THCA, a low THCA level to pass for the farm or the hemp bill, you have to pull it like super early, or is it
I'm not
genetics?
I know like an extraction part of it, more say like THCA. What I do know of it was like, it's stripping everything out of it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, it's like when they crash, it's in the crashing process. Like diamonds is actually like a THCA. If you unwashed all the terpenes and everything on it, like a diamond crash or your trichome to put together, it actually becomes like THCA. It starts separating it. Yes, you have your mixes in with the goo, when you're making your hash, but it's starting to separate out of that. But opposed to like passing for hemp and all that, I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
I was always into more of the cannabis side, the hip side, but it all plays the same factor where you extract it. I know they extract that. Like the BHO guys are getting the THCA out of it.
Because when I looked into it, I'm like, all flower is almost considered THCA until heat is applied, which creates the decarboxylation process, which converts THCA to THC, which is where the euphoric comes in, But I'm just kind of like, how are these companies, Oregon, other places like that, just shipping
They're crazy
to legal states pounds on their website? Get a pound, $800, whatever, to your doorstep in 4 days. And
that's sketchy though.
Yeah, and I'm like what?
Like
I've ordered some. I ordered quarters just to see, and I even showed Angel. I'm like, man, this shit looks like regular weed.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit like regular weed, but it's pretty fucking close. It's pretty fucking close, man. So it's like,
remember that fake weed they used to sell in the gas station?
Yeah.
It's crazy, huh?
That's what, I told them that's what they're basically doing here. They're just saying it's THCA, but it's really just some dake or something.
Like a lotion company, you know what I mean? Like
just rebrand
got
it.
CBD, but they're like pumping it out,
Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. I was kind of like in awe about that.
California is a little different. Like Oregon, they have them like everywhere. You see like in your front yard in a neighborhood of just like plants sometimes.
Plants.
You're like,
Oh,
what the
man.
hell?
Really?
Like we ain't like that here yet,
Not
like,
yet.
Not yet, like they'll still get, a county, I guess, where you're in,
Yeah, the counties.
but like it's different,
Is New York still wide open? I remember when they first went legal out there, it was like
I know
Wild
everybody's
Wild
doing
West.
it in their backyards for a little while,
They were
It's
selling like you could sell oranges on the corner. Like people were just popping up selling weed in the park. It's
crazy.
super wide open right now.
Sprayed
like,
packs out there.
Spraying
know?
packs.
Spray packs
Don't
out
spray
there.
pack, guys.
Don't spray
Don't do it.
Nah, man, that's
Don't.
horrible.
I can't believe they do it.
Huh.
It hurt my. So I got in an extraction company. So when I first got in the industry, I did extraction, and that was my first job in the cannabis industry. And so knowing a triclone was really cool because we were making BHO out of a facility, and we were running like a 200,000 closed loop system, bitchin' system, and the money was there back in the day. You know, they used to get good money for their grams, but getting into that, like at that point where I knew the trichome, so I was like, you know, where CRC was just coming out, where like they didn't do CRC, and then they started doing CRC, and then they started coming out with different medias like silicas and stuff like that. And you can strip material. Then I found out they fake terpene some of the stuff on scale, like commercial, doing this, and I broke my heart. So I'm like, you know, we come from, you know, the homies, you know, like I'm not saying some names, but they're the OGs on making the oils, you know, and they had real terpenes. Like their jars were just terps, you know, and then they could add to like different diamonds and different stuff. Where that was like the real deal. Where these fake terpenes are like droplets, as they're like pouring out of collections on their system into Pyrex or their boats or whatever. They use fake terpenes. It broke my heart. I got out of that so fast. I was like, I think I can't do it, dude.
Loud strawberry or orange.
Yeah,
space.
I couldn't do it.
Weird
I couldn't
shit.
do it. I came from like real deal stuff, and I'm like, I can't do it. Then I got into cultivation, and then it kind of like, all right, I like this, you know?
Yeah. How do you feel about the testing facilities right now? Like,
I think everybody should test. It would take so many people out, like on a real level. Like,
do you feel like the
people are-
testing is legit though, or needs to be more regulated?
it
because
needs to be regulated more.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it puts more loopholes in the investors of like kind of what it's doing it to. So like, they'll disagree. Like, you know, if I was sitting next to an investor right now, he would disagree with me. But at the same time, if we're doing it right, you're doing it clean, it takes out this guy right here that's doing it dirty.
Right.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Honestly,
like,
and I don't mean to cut you off, but that's kind of what I feel like the industry needs. You
It
know,
does.
because then it takes out the investors that are just dishing out all this money to do whatever.
they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
where it's
and then
going, who's hurting.
exactly, and now you got the quality ones that are now able to even bring that price back up because
It will come up. It
know?
it will take time.
yeah,
It's going to be where the candy crashes. So when the candy crashes, I want to say between 2 to 3 years. I think it's going to crash. I've been saying that for already a year.
Yeah.
But I think so. It's going to come to an end, and then OGs are going to come back. And when OGs come back, what happened to all the OGs? And only a few people have the cuts. And there's some people out there that really do have the cuts. But if you really have them, that's where it's at. You know, like I feel bad for the seed companies. You know, like
yeah. During that time,
they
for
have
sure.
like the still real genetics and real bomb, but it's just flat because the industry's not there.
Yeah.
You know, like Cali Connection or something like that. Like they still got really good seeds.
And how can you tell like it's the original cuts? Because I hear sometimes people saying this is a certified cut, Skittles, this and
Yeah.
that. This is like 3 times
You
the
don't.
amount. Like
It's so much now unless it comes with paperwork or you're paying a high price. More likely, it's not really. It is what it is. Like tissue culture stuff. It's like some strains are anywhere from $50 to $500 to $5,000 of if you want a genetic of certain tissue culture, if they held it in their library, right? So you're kind of knowing of what you used to know, and kind of like what it is now, right? The OGs, it's hard to find the cut that we were running 2005, what they got gone because it got raided or something happened to it. Where that sucks, you know, like you lost that cut. You know, your homie who used to get that is down, and we have no longer the cut. So going back to like the original seed banks, you get closer, kind of where it's at.
okay.
And I had really good luck, you know, like the Louis I have, like that one came from Cali Connection. The headband came from them. So far, so good, you know.
So there's some trusted seed companies you can.
There
kind of
is,
say,
there is, you know. You just
those
gotta
are
find and
legit.
pick and choose. And a lot of growers have bags of seeds through the journey or where they're at. They may not even pops, you know. Like I got a little library of seeds that are old, but they're ready to go when I'm ready to go, you know. And it's like a lot of people that can't really do that or see that, or you make your own.
Yeah.
You know, I got this to this, and then you know you try to do that sometimes, but the original people they were, you know, like back in the day it was like Progressive Options. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but like they were like the clone cut place back in the day of all like the badass like OGs and all that stuff. Like they were the spot, you know.
like DNA genetics.
Like DNA, yeah, like
DNA.
the genetics or goat genetics, and like they're really good too. Like it's hard to find people like that, but if you know you're like that, more likely you are gonna get the sticky weed. The really good, like Soulfire Nation is really bomb. Like they make really good seeds. Their names are a little off. Don't get me wrong, but they have really good like where it's strong genetics. But yeah, you got to find a trusted one because you can get some bunk.
Yeah.
You get this, and you're like, that's not.
Got these presidential Kush seeds I've been hoarding. Like I'm selling them for
Yeah.
10K or something crazy.
I had a buddy I was working with for a little while. He had the old school Hiruana. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Big calyx, like a different type of OGs, more tighter.
Damn, I haven't heard that name.
I would say
in a
I've
while.
only heard that like once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was like, dude, what's up?
What's up?
Let me get those.
Let me get those. But yeah,
That's good.
yeah, the industry.
Tell us more about the Drip Hydro. I see you rocking their hat.
So I want to say the journey with Drip, if Drip sees this, it's been night and day difference. Running commercially, I was able to come up on my yields. The quality was still there. And I was running their liquid line. They have a salt line, but their liquid line, I was feeding a low EC. I was adding organic inputs for terpenes and chasing certain things and keeping certain things out organically with it. So Synganic, basically what it is, that's where it's at, commercial.
Synganic, I like that.
Synganic, man. Like
sure, yeah.
you put your knowledge of what you've done organically for all these years into something that's like a baseline product that you can tailor to yourself. That's like, it's on point every time. Like, and the people that are now running it are starting to hit and they're going, fuck, the quality's coming. And like, it tastes like weed like how it used to. And like that's good, but you can still overrun it. You can still throttle it too hard and you can, also loop out. But the journey with Drip, it changed my life, honestly. Just because commercially for work, I know my consistency. I know I'm going to get the same batch from them every time. I never had a bad batch, right?
No, yeah, honestly.
And it was, I loved it, like, and I liked how clean it was,
Right.
and I just to the point where I didn't have to pH nothing. I can add this much of A and this much of B, and tailor what I'm doing. And that's the good part I like about it is like, I'm making a tank and I'm throwing the pH in the tank and I'm adjusting the tank. And I'm like, oh, it's 5.8. Well, I want to change it through my weeks a little bit or how the plant's reading or what my runoff is. And, there's this company, I'll tag them, Aquatech. They make these like trays that started coming out where it drips out and you can check your pH and everything, but it doesn't sit in like a clone tray like how the old school guys, we used to put it in a clone tray,
Yeah.
get your runoff numbers and stuff. But something so simple, it's so badass where it's just blowing up. The mango guys are starting to try them out. Like these big guys are running it out, and it's so simple, but it's so G because if you aren't using that, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Straight the fuck up, So you have to measure your runoff, you have to measure your pH, and that's all affecting it. But when you can do everything, it's
I heard
it's
that
important.
Drip too. They have really good customer service. So like I know a couple other people that use them in smaller grows. They're like, you can just call them up and ask them, and
I've
majority of
never-
the time the owners will answer.
Yeah.
Or somebody up there will just be like, oh, do this, adjust that. You should, kind of explain what's
Yeah,
going
they,
on.
they back it. They want to sell their product too, and they're some of the best growers in the industry. Like through the industry, I came about them through some other people I worked for in their facilities, and they've been running it longer than I have. I've been running it for a long time, but they got me on the Drip. It's kind of one of those ones where you're seeing the industry. I'm not saying the names, but there's nutrient lines out there that are just. That's so 2016, and it's 2025, about to be 2026. You got to change it up. You have to change it up.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, 14 essential nutrients, you can grow good flour. Facts, right? But what separates it is like how easy it is and how hard you have to work for balancing that out. Because some put too high of numbers in your NPK, right? So first one's nitrogen, then you got your phosphorus and potassium. Those numbers make a big factor of understanding agriculture and how much is in there. And cannabis doesn't like a lot. It doesn't need a lot. So if you don't push it to full, but don't baby it, you'll find that sweet spot. And then you can maybe push it a little harder until it tells you, okay, I'm good, you know? But that's why some people are like, oh, I got to be at 3 EC to even hit 2 light. It's like, no. Like you can run low EC and your quality is so good because say you did dry back too much and 2 EC comes into it, you're not burning your roots, not burning your plant. It's not hurting it, opposed to it dried back and it's hitting 3 EC on a dripper. It's like, ooh, until it gets hydrated again, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, drips everything. If you haven't used it, you know, I would use it. If you ain't dripping, you're tripping.
There you go.
That's my shit. Yeah. Honestly, I think me and Steve were always, every time a harvest came down to yours and we grabbed some, you could just see the difference again from, you know, again, other fire facilities that are growing out some fire, but then you just see what Drip's dishing out on top of what you're doing, your organic methods. That's where that stickiness, I think, was coming back into play.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, the content that I have of everything that was growing with Drip, fire.
Yeah.
And again, other people, you know, they'll sit there and they'll want to say, you know, Athena and other companies, which again, yeah, they're fire. Some people can grow some fire with them, but
Of course.
like you said, you're an open book. You want to try everything, and
Yeah.
Drip was one of those that kind of came into play.
It was kind of a, if you can't take gambles or risk, you're stuck.
Yeah.
But like doing it for, you know, since 2005, like 20 years, it's, you kind of know what works and what doesn't work, right? And so you start seeing it and you're just, the health of the plant's different. The color is different. And you're just like, I can't get that on some of the other stuff. No matter what kind of grower you are. I can go into seeing these other growers and I'm like, just ain't quite there, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's trippy.
How do you feel about federally rescheduling the plant when that happens?
It's crazy. I don't know, man.
Like when it goes federally legal, you think it's going to be mass produced, taken over by big companies, and all the, like, you know, smaller growers are going to kind of get pushed out and overlooked? Or you think those are going to still be a spot for them?
I think the real growers are going to still be there because it's going to get flooded harder. And these people who are building these facilities and just pumping out, and it's just commercial line, baseline, and just, I need my money. It's about money. They're not going to last. Those are the people that are coming in and out of the industry. Mm-hmm. The people that you see every day that are still in it and still running it, they figured out either branding or their flower stands out or their vibe, right? It can just be the vibe.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
I like those guys. Those guys, I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to stick with those guys. I just like that, you know? You're not going to get like say like Marlboro or something, but we went like cannabis, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to wipe everybody else because they're growing fucking crazy, you know, like Costco after Costco type shit, you know?
That's where I kind of see like where it's going to go, you know, and I feel like it's going to get so watered down.
I see it, but I think it will be there, but it will be different. It will be like the price will go back up because cost of living is going up. And so these guys are running, you know, $60,000 to $400,000 electric bills when they're running their shit. A month is like, they can't just grow that standard. So like, do I see it lasting? I don't know. I think it's making it unfederally. Maybe it'd be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I stay neutral with everything on the whole, like activists, everything kind of happening, because it's kind of like, you know.
Do you think like too, probably when that happens, it'll be, I mean, we don't know if it's 3 years, 5 years or what, but do you see agriculture or cannabis cultivation being more automated with AI,
100%.
stuff like that? Like, I'm kind of curious too on how all that's going to work. Is, you know, you're going to have like little robots running down the aisles, like checking, you know, stuff.
I don't know if it'd be that far, but all the loading line work, like production line, will be all on conveyor belts, laying them on the tables, you know, doing the labor for you. I do see that. That knowledge will still be the AI can learn it, but then again, it's not reading it. You know, something can change in these facilities. Like, you don't understand, or like, I can go to lunch and look at the babies and like, all right, I'm gonna go to lunch for an hour, and come back and a dehu may have stopped and the humidity went up in the room, or you know, you never know.
Yeah.
Power or something can happen where it's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because the plant's a living thing, you know. And
It is.
It's a living thing, and we're living things. We're human, and it's like you need that bond between the plant, I feel. So if it's too much AI generated, or you know, I think it will affect the quality of it, you know.
Well, it's like having a nanny that's a robot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is it going to make me become?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Opposed to, because the cultures, different cultures into one culture, but every culture has something bitching about what they experience in that culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I don't know. It's hard. Is it going to be?
It's a good one.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know. Just because so many things are changing with AI and automated,
it is.
You know, driving, chefs, everything.
Like, you know, like doing the podcast and talking about cannabis back in the day, it was just like scary. Like, you know, put your name out or do any of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
You're scared to walk
But
outside.
like nowadays, nowadays it's different. But even like early 2000s, like when you're doing it, you're scared. But you know, now you can go to like work and it's like a work.
It's a work. Yeah.
I you know, I got tags on everything. You're actually a legit facility.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like I'm not scared to go to work.
Talk about it or anything.
you know, it's not like, oh, you know. And it wasn't from my friend Jessica that she's like, you should get an Instagram. And I'm like, all right. So then I kind of like started on that journey because she's like, you have something good, you should like start doing something on it. Yeah. And I'm like, if it wasn't for her, you know. And like I met her, she was she done the agriculture and everything. She's a really good grower too. She runs the facilities, and she just kind of opened me up, and I kind of like seen that, and I opened it up a little bit. I got love in the industry, and it's like it's not about a flex, you know. Like if I post something or do something, it's not a flex in my mind, you know. It's just kind of like I'm gonna show it because like I'm fucking proud of it. You know what I mean?
You should.
You should. Sure.
But you know you're doing something right when you get haters. Because like that's how you know you're doing something fucking right. Because you're like, well, you know what it is. You know, everything what's going on. There's people like you, the people that don't like you. But then that's where like the energy is. It's like I'm not gonna give bad energy to them. They fucking feel it. I can't explain it. Like plants feel it.
Yeah.
You know, if you see a guy that's like Debbie Downer and he's watering his plant every day and it's over fucking watered, opposed to this guy that's fucking high in life, fucking making sure that thing's in the sun right, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Water,
talking to his plant.
He's out there vibing. He's vibing.
That's it, dude. And if you're not a grower, you ain't, you know, running a hand up on the leaves to stimulate them, you're doing something wrong. So spend time with your plants if you're a new cultivator and learn your plant, all aspects of it, because you will never realize that every plant will teach you something. And every plant likes something different. Like some like topping, some don't like topping, some like to run and like cram together and run hedges, and then some just like want 9 of light and just wide,
more space.
Yeah, and it's like
room.
genetically, you know, like that strain green crack, like it's like 9 of light plant, you know, like you don't want a lot on it and it'll yield more than you like. What the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where it comes in that risk taking. A lot of people don't want to switch it up because every grow is different. If the minute you start adding different strains,
you just gotta trust the process. I can't explain that to people. Is like if you're investing in a grower and you're investing in someone to do that, you'll know if a person is really dedicated to what your partnership is doing. You know, like if you can't see that, then that's what it is. Like being the director, I do all my computer work at night. I watch. I didn't even sleep. I felt bad for my family sometimes, where it's like, yes, I'm there for them, but like I work so much where it's like I was doing like 110, 120 hours a week.
Sheesh.
You know, like just pumping it out, like just like whoa, I mean, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I was doing like 120 hours, and it was just like it was cranking, bro. And but I loved it. I had to see it, and like even my day off, I had to go do something. I would stop by the facility and just like make sure everything's good, just. Because it makes me feel good when you're running millions of dollars, right?
You're passionate about something like that, you have to be addicted, and it's not, you want to be addicted. You want to be so locked in with that passion.
So like, right, we smoked and we're enjoying it. When I grow cannabis and I'm doing it professionally, I don't smoke at work. I don't feel like I need to. Very rarely you ever see me fucking ever like that, because it's like it's one of those ones where my professionalism on it is like I get high being around the plant, and not like, oh, it's on me, I'm running the sleeves, type shit. Like literally, like feels good to like look at that, like damn,
your endorphins are kicked in from that. Just from the
of
good
course,
feeling of
get
it.
home, enjoy it. Most people drink a beer, I smoke a joint. And it's like it's just one of those ones. But like professionalism's, keep it professional. A lot of people come in this industry thinking like, oh, I'm in the industry, it's not hard, and get high at work. Like, those are the people at minimum wage still as like a laborer. Like if you really are passionate about what you're doing, you're taking it serious. And you're telling those investors, this is serious. Like I'm 100% in. And when you tell people 100% in, you are getting quality. You are getting weed that you're proud of. You're yelling at like how those pounds are getting pounded out. Are they cleaned? It needs a new bag for present. I can't tell you how many people lose hundreds and hundreds of dollars by crumbled up turkey bag pound, right? And then like so many people looked at it, or maybe burping or something, and it's just like, oh, wrinkly, opposed to something fresh and clean, and you're like, yeah, have you paid dollars for it? And you're like, fucking look at that. What I mean? That's where it's at. Like quality check yourself, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you're doing. Like don't half-ass watering the plants if you're watering your plants, or don't half-ass checking your room if you're gonna check the room, or don't half-ass of being a good person. Like just in general, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
As a craft grower, I would say as yourself that passionate about the plant, do you clash or kind of like get into it with investors a lot because they want super big numbers, or they're like, pull it early, we got to make this drop, and you're just kind of like, be patient, bro, like
it's
let me do my thing,
and
then I'm pretty sure you're kind of like
there's the balance on it. It's not perfect, right? So like sometimes you can't have stuff in control, and what I mean by that is like you can lose power for 30 hours. That happened to me once, bro, and it's like, being the grower I am, I prepped for it. And what I mean is I was able to, when the power came back on, to hit one more shot, and I threw something in the tank to help it kind of like preserve itself for that time. And I saved the crop, or we would have lost the whole crop, because 30 hours down.
That's a long time.
Long time. And you're talking about full due, like hardship, very much, to a point where you're like, we made it through, and that balance was beautiful, and we still come out of it. So challenge is what makes you a good grower, 100%. And battling with investors is, you're always going to, until you find that right investor for you, right? So like the journey is like in and out. This ride's like in and out. Like you can be balling more than you ever have, or you can be working, just getting by, right?
Yeah.
And that's how the industry is. But you find that right investor that's looking at the same dreams that you are, as like same end goal, that's where it's at. So investors that smoke, that enjoy your product and makes them excited about your product as what you're growing, you'll have that relationship and bond where they keep going. Like those people who are doing that, been running it for 10, 15 years still. They're still running it. And because they have the relationship, the end goal,
Right.
Just the right person with the right, like, I like that. That's where it's going to. I want something or something, and that person as well has to be a good soul, a good person, because greed usually takes people.
Yeah.
You'll get those people like, I want 3 light, and they're like, I want 4 light. You're like, You want quality?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's why you're getting $600 a pound. You know, not 1,000, 1,200.
Nah,
Exactly.
for sure.
And the industry changed, man. I remember 4,000 a pound. You used to get that stuff for, and
Back in the day.
you're balling. Those guys are balling, bro. And now it's the struggle's real.
I was paying
Blood.
I was paying like $2.50 an ounce, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, of some fire coming from the farm to table.
Yeah.
You know, and that was like the homie hookup.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
You know, because he was like,
That's because they have so much of it, and you know that person. You're like,
Yeah.
here you go. If not,
Yeah.
it's
250 was a steal though.
Yeah.
It was like,
It's crazy.
it was fire
huh?
though.
Industry change.
Not even too long ago, those numbers were like 2 G's,
Yeah.
25 a
Not too.
unit.
Yeah, it wasn't
You
too
know,
bad.
was it?
Yeah.
It's going down a lot. Like this last month or two, it just really went down
Yeah.
hard, and it's like, it sucks for people who have it all in and are like in the middle of it. Right?
Just,
That's what I'm saying. Don't go. If you find that perfect like spot, if you're gonna build something and you want to get in the industry, don't think more is that's the ticket. It's not. It's gonna put you in more debt, more stress, more everything. You know, find the balance and tune, and then
Yeah.
get the system, run it. You know, and like I said, being honest and your investor being honest is the best relationship. You know,
Cool.
but yeah.
Any advice you would give out to like an up and coming grower, someone wanting to get into the game, or, you know, whether it's at home or, you know, commercial, or just what would you kind of, you know?
I say it's kind of like reading a book. You know, like, do I want to read that book I'm not really interested in, or I'm going to read this book I'm interested in, right?
Yeah, true.
So if you're interested in that, find what you want to grow, and that journey will take you a lot farther than what you don't want to grow. And sometimes pleasing others, stop pleasing other people. Those people who are standing out, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're gonna grow what they want because that's what they want. And if they want to buy it, that's cool. And then like those are the guys that are standing out and they're known for what they are growing, right? And so I think that's like the importance of it, you know, is like be on the same page, because like to find OGs nowadays and kind of like run decent lights on it, you're gonna make some good money, because how many people have it? Some people back east have it, you know. Some
Yeah.
people who run the drip, and some OGs back east, you know. But commercial is hard. You can't run multiple strains. They all want something different, right?
Yeah.
Like we're all eating. We may all eat at different qualities. Or like I'm full off of this, or you know, like, or I might eat more than you, or something like that. You know, and it's like it's hard to find that balance when you're running multiple rooms. But if you have one strain and you're dialed and locked, that's where it's at. You know, it's really important for your yield and everything. Or keep it per reservoir, per table. Some people are fancy, some people aren't.
True.
I've been in some spots where they're like 2-tier and they run like 4 or 5 racks, double tier, top and bottom, off of like one shot. And I'm like, you have multiple strains on your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm tripping out. I'm like, you know how to dial this in? I'm like, that's it right there. But
Yo, that's what's up, man. Shit. I feel it, man. Shit. Hey, we're about to wrap it up, though. I just appreciate you coming out today
I
and
appreciate you.
giving us a deeper dive into cultivation.
Thanks.
I think we learned a lot. You know, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know that I know now about cultivation.
Right
And,
on.
you know, if you want to shout out your Instagram, you know, people can check out maybe some of your work.
yeah, Swayze
You know, let 'em
Trichomes
know.
on Instagram.
Swayze Trichomes, you know, check out that work.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming out.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir.